All right, guys, I am super excited today to bring you a video from the PGA Merchandise Show here in Orlando, Florida. It is the biggest golf show on the planet. And I am here with Mr. BRIAN MANZELLA, who is a legend with golf instruction, has been around the game for many, many years. And he is the gentleman that coined the phrase, dragging the handle. And I talk about that. I stole it from him. And I've used it a lot. I've borrowed it from him.
Great to be on.
But I'm very thankful to BRIAN because he's helped so many students over the years. And I'm here with Hack Motion. Now, for those of you that don't know about Hack Motion, they're the number one. They are the leader in the industry for measuring wrist mechanics in the golf swing. And I've spent the last day looking at all these expert coaches, and they're absolutely brilliant. But all they're talking about are body dynamics. There is very little discussion with regard to how the wrists work in the golf.
Except don't use them.
Except don't use them. The arms play a passive role. The body squares the club face. This is what we're hearing. For those of you that are maybe 50s, 60s, you're in your 70s, you're a little bit older, I would consider myself a little more old school. Would you consider yourself a little more old school?
I try to stay pretty up to date, but you know the thing is, a lot of times, old school information was right.
Yes.
And you got to give proper credit to the swings of the past.
Yes.
Because especially the ones that lasted for a long time.
Yeah.
When Jack Nicklaus won that Masters in 1986 when he was 46 years old, I mean, that's like a 52-year-old guy now winning the Masters.
Yeah,
extraordinary.
extraordinary.
A little different.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that he was able to still compete at a high level, had another little run in 92 at it, was because his golf swing was made for not that flexible a person. If you've ever seen Jack in his prime or now, not that flexible, and for distance. So because he built it that way, and something a bunch of mechanics and a pattern that a lot of people could copy.
Yes.
Certainly didn't square it with his pivot.
Yeah.
Very square at impact.
Yeah.
A lot of arms. And
as is Scotty Scheffler these days. He's not terribly open.
Very, very similar
right?
to
Scotty Scheffler. Similar, yeah.
And so when you're looking at swings that work for a long period of time on somebody that's not, built like a ballerina like Rory, you have basically something that you can apply to a lot of golfers. And like the people that we teach, right? All ages. You said you had an 86-year-old this week.
86-year-old signed up with me, online coaching, which we're able to do now with technology. Amazing. Like you teach someone in Japan, and it's like you're right next door to them. This gentleman's 86. He's out in Texas. What a hoot! What a character! And wants to get better. And again, we're working on very much on wrist and arm mechanics. And your jam, and I think my jam in many respects, is taking complex ideas and breaking them down into salient points, sort of digestible vignettes, right? Things that are easy to understand. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
That's the art of instruction.
And the art of video instruction, because if there's something like flexion extension that we're going to talk about in this segment, it sounds like fancy words, but it's just flexing and extending your wrist this way. It's just putting some arch in and taking it away, which
creates a lot of speed.
There's a lot of different things that you're going to use that action with, and so like you're saying, the art of it a lot of times is coming up with an analogy that people go, oh, I got a couple for that we'll use when we
love it. I know you do. Anyway, guys, if you've not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and press that subscribe button. There's a bell button next door. Click on that. You get a notification every time I release a new video. Super excited. Sit tight. You're going to enjoy this one. All right, guys, so I'm going to be guinea pig today. Brian's going to give me a little golf lesson. Now, I want to let you know I have not had a golf lesson in about 10 years, and I need help, just like you do. So I've got this master instructor that's going to take a look at me, help me with my release pattern to be a little bit more consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a couple. This is going to pick up the data, okay? It's going to tell me what my wrists are doing. Brian's going to take a look at it. We're going to have a chat. You guys just sit tight, okay? All right, let's take a little look at the numbers.
What this device shows, and I'll go back one more, is here's the swing from before. Just I know people, when y'all are looking at this graph without a T, it makes people a little anxious, graphs, right? But this is address right here where I'm moving this little line back and forth. And it says that at address, you had your wrist 28 degrees extended. So flat, bent is extended 28 degrees. I'm 25.
So you know that with hack motion, generally 30 plus. If you have a strong grip, guys, your lead hand's more on top. It's going to give you more extension.
It'll be more extension.
And then a weaker grip, DeChambeau,
It would
going to be maybe less than 10.
Even if the hands are in the same place. Okay,
yeah.
So I have 26, so it's very common.
Okay.
So now, but
get to the top.
But mid backswing,
yeah.
it never really gets anywhere near zero. So more or less, what Andrew does, his wrist is cupped, and he carries that cup to the top and barely uncups. Barely takes the extension
So
out.
pretty similar at the top as I was at address? Or?
No, more or less, like 19.
So it took a little bit off.
It took a little bit, but not ideal. It's like 2 cups for too long, basically.
Okay.
Right? And then here's a downswing between this vertical line and this vertical line. And you're not going to be able to, unless you're trying to hit a lob shot like Phil Mickelson, you're going to have to, at some point, move toward flexion. And Andrew does that halfway down, 13, has a little rise right there. And then the dive down to 0, which
that's towards impact?
Right before impact.
Okay.
Which is what you want, but it's a little too much. So basically, the lesson is probably great grip and great setup. The wrist never quite flattens out on the backswing. And then on the downswing, it takes the whole downswing to get it to flat.
That's a lot to unpack in a short space of time, isn't it? You
It's
agree?
very, very difficult to time
Yeah.
getting the most flat at impact, right?
Yeah.
So what we'd like to see, and I would say for almost everybody watching this video, somewhere in the backswing, this wrist should get pretty flat. And let's see how that changes what the ball did. By the way, it was a really good shot. Flight scope captured basically 0 path and like 1.6 to the right.
Very linear, very neutral.
Good setup.
All right, okay.
Hit a ball and make a half backswing, left arm parallel.
Okay.
We got Ryan Hose over here with hack motion working the.
So I'm probably here now.
What do we? Yeah, okay. But what do we got extended?
That's
Plus 31.
Plus 31, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this, as you watch this, folks, it's not that much, but it's a big, not that much. Right?
Very subtle. But it's not subtle.
So about halfway back, I'd like to have you feel like the sensor is turning toward the camera a little bit.
What about the feeling of having my palm pointing back?
Dribble
I like
the
to feel my
basketball.
right hand is doing. Does it matter whether it's left or right? Or
No, it doesn't matter if it's your pinky toe. Only matters what happens at the wrist and the club.
All right.
So you can have the feeling, if you want to, that you're dribbling a basketball up against a wall right here. You're pretty much. The only thing I want you to change, halfway back.
A little flatter.
A little flatter and hit it.
Okay. And you want a full swing or half swing?
Same amount of swing you made when we captured.
You got it.
A little bit better, right? So what we're looking at here, so you got a little closer to flat halfway back. It changed how far into flexion it got pre-impact.
Okay.
And we wound up with a draw this time. So see, you got it all the way to 12.
Okay. Yeah.
And that we went from 1-7, 0 path both times, 1-7 open face to 1-3 closed face or 1-1 closed face in one swing. Just
one swing, basically the face has gone from being a little too open, which has always been my problem. I've done hack motion videos on my channel before. I tend to get too open. There's no question.
And look, extended at the top's all right, but you got to put in some of this. I would like you to do a little more this time. Go ahead.
I'm still in the doghouse, Brian. Is that what you're telling me?
You're not completely in the doghouse. Go ahead and take your risks. And you hear that noise?
I hear
it's
it.
The angels singing to you that you have. You're
We've got a
closer to
chance.
golfing
You're saying
heaven.
there's a chance.
There's a chance. Okay.
So if I get a little cuppy back here, I get a little bit too much extension,
It'll
no
never
sound.
get in. If it doesn't get to 0, there you go.
Yeah, very powerful tool.
Or once you do one practice halfway back, and we're listening for the sound halfway back, more. There you go. So this is not necessarily that this is what we're going to go with.
That's what I want to feel, though.
You need to do it one time.
Yes.
This is in real time, folks. So I'm going to stand off camera. He's going to make a swing, and you're going to hear whether or not the Angels, even if they just burp and go for 1 second, it's still, that's what I want. I want you to pulse it into that action.
I will try my best.
And hit it.
And
right
you want a
in the middle
full
of the
swing?
Absolutely. The whole world is listening. The Angels never lie.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
We're not kidding. So now you're going to do that and hit it.
Wow.
So really very different.
Guys, I feel like Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, but
just to give you a heads up, and I know I'm not. This is the thing, I'm not, but that's what it feels like to me.
So I've had a pretty good week here this week, starting with the PGA Teachers Summit. This is one more of them. We had a 0 path and a 0 face, and a
zero.
Zero path, 0 face, and
that's crazy.
Not as scoopy at impact.
And Brian, look at the face contact as well.
So not only did you get way into 10 degrees of flexion, but you did it earlier,
yes,
and you were able to start taking it out, which adds a little speed. And it's that simple, folks. I would say, rough estimate, not knowing your folks on here, 40,000, right? Plus people. 80% of y'all probably never would have the Angels on the backswing, not even for a millisecond.
How many golfers have an open club face? It's somewhere in their swing.
80%.
So I talk about this, right? 80%.
Well, no, everybody's club face is open on the backswing. Don't let anybody tell you there's a shut position. This position right here is just less open than this is. That's it.
Yeah.
They're all open, okay? Yeah. But the point is that your subscribers that don't draw the ball, almost all of them would not ever have the wrist get to 0 at any point on the backswing, much less the downswing. And he did it both times. Look, you got it below that line that goes all the way across. Then the Angels sung for a little bit. It's
completely different.
Then it sung some more, and then it really sung right before impact. And you were able, he had so much of this right here that he was able to take some out. That's club head speed right there, folks. And still have, forward lean, which is what everybody's looking for.
And then we'll talk a little bit about sending the speed home, just to sort of wrap things up, guys.
Absolutely.
This is really about taking my wrist and sending the club head home.
Yes.
I don't want you to think, and Brian and I are on the same page with this. We do not want the handle dragging around the corner.
Well, one of the jobs of the golfer is to get the speed out to the club, and the only way to do that is by rotating the club and this plane of motion, which is flex and extension. You did a great job there, Pro.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Brian. If anyone is interested in hack motion, head to the description. I have a little link in there.
The best company you'll ever deal with.
I really
100%.
hope you want to invest in this product. It's fantastic. And again, get after it, guys. If you think this could help someone, go ahead and share. Thanks so much for subscribing. We'll see you next time.